Hello, and welcome to the Fear Channel, a channel with regular broadcasts telling the most chilling of urban legends, ghost stories, and forays into the darkest corners of the human mind. Those faint of heart or prone to night terrors should proceed at their own risk. Tonight's story is The Night Watch.
I was 18 at the time in boot camp, and out on a field exercise for 11 days. One night, my picket, which is a night watch, had me on post from the hours of 2 to 4. It's the graveyard shift, which everyone hates. The picket point was set along a rocky outcrop overlooking a road and a tree line about 200 meters away. We're harbored up on a hill, which is well cleared, but there are trees all around at the bottom of the hill, except for where the road is. I'm woken up for my picket at 2, right on time. I ask if anything fishy has been going on. I'm second in command of my section at the time, so I had to ask stuff like that. The guide tells me there's one possible enemy about 200 meters out in the tree line. I ask if the guy has been shooting to try and get us to open fire. Nope, just standing there. That's odd for an enemy party. So I go up to the picket point. My partner for the night is Scott. He's lying down with an LSW. For you civilians, that's a light support weapon, with night vision goggles, and is looking at the tree line. I ask him if he has eyes on the possible enemy. Scott responds with, "He's just standing there. He's been like this for 45 minutes, just fucking standing still. I don't get it." I get my night vision goggles up and running and ask Scott to give me a reference. Scott gives me an indication and I see it. It's a man, standing there, with very broad shoulders, but there's something not quite right. Whether it was night vision screwing up with my perception, or just something I couldn't explain. I asked Scott if he notices anything odd. Yeah, man, he's really tall. Too tall if you ask me. I can't make out what kind of gear he has on. Possibly webbing. I turn to Scott. Do you think we should call into the forward operating base and ask if there's meant to be an enemy party floating around? There's usually more than one. This could just be a civilian who's wandered onto the base. Scott agrees, so I tell him to call it in. He picks up the radio and I'm looking back down to where the man's position is. Scott, I can't see him anymore. Scott drops the radio and looks through his sight again. Oh fuck, where's he gone now? Something's starting to feel odd about this situation. Like we were used to being fucked with by the senior officers and stuff, but this was on another level. We felt put off, as though something was legitimately wrong and we were at risk. There he is, 175 meters out, base of the tree line, slight left, next to a log. I get eyes on him. Again, he's just standing there. He's just moved slightly to the left and forward from where he was before. We could make out some features of him now through the goggles. He's about 7 feet tall, but everything was in proportion. What he was wearing, though, is what threw us off the most. He didn't have webbing on, nor a pack. He was wearing an army personnel uniform, except it was old, like the stuff our commanding officers would have been issued when they were in our position. Okay, this guy is definitely fucking with us, I say. Scott is silent. Scott, you alright over there? Is his back turned to us? Scott's voice was shaking, which put me on edge. Yeah, his boots are facing towards the woods, and you can't see his collar or neckline, I respond. Then why the fuck can I see his face? I turned, paused, and looked through my night vision. Oh, what the fuck? I whispered to myself. I tell Scott to stay there. I'm going to get Corporal. As I'm running through our camp to get the Corporal, I hear Scott yell the challenge procedure. Oh fuck, it's gotten closer. I wake up the Corporal just as the LSW lights up. They're just blanks, but holy fuck, it startled me thinking that thing was close enough for Scott to start firing. The Corporal barrels out of his hutchie, which is like a tent, and starts running to the picket point, going straight past me. There's Scott just lying there as if nothing had happened. The Corporal asks him, "What the fuck, recruit? Scott, why did you open fire? There was no enemy tonight." "I didn't, Corporal. What do you mean?" I looked at Scott. He isn't scared. He's quite calm, but legitimately confused. Scott, the man that was standing out near the tree line, where'd he go? I heard you say the challenge procedure. What the fuck? What man? Was Scott's reply. It was kind of angry. The whole section's up by now, standing too. The corporal dismisses us, and I relieve Scott. Nothing else happens. My picket ends. I go to wake up the next guy, and I'm about to go to sleep when I hear the strangest thing to the right of my tent. It's Scott's voice, yelling the challenge procedure again, about 500 meters away. Needless to say, I didn't sleep that night. Scott was charged with negligent fire, even when I tried to stick up for him. I guess our stories didn't match up when we were questioned. I have no idea what exactly happened that night. The only other strange occurrence was that the guy sent to relieve me on picket was psychiatric discharged about a week later.